Now, to begin with, we all know what are the primary immune organs in the body. Can anybody just name one immune organ in the body, most important immune organ in the body? Fine. There are lymph nodes, as you mentioned, tonsils. There's thymus, excellent, and there's the most important, if we miss, is the bone marrow. So, what these immune organs do, they form certain immunological cells, and these immunological cells then come into the blood and actually form the major immune armaments which we are concerned with in the body. Now, as I mentioned before, immune system is there to save you, there to defend you. Even in the diseases which are immunologically related diseases, such as an autoimmune disease or allergy, if you see in one way, immune system is trying to defend some new antigens which are formed in autoimmune diseases and defend certain antigens, you from certain antigens which we see in diseases like allergy. So there are two ways of looking into it. One is immune system is bad, suppress the immune system, it's causing a disease. And the other way to look at immune system is there to actually defend you. And I favor the second one. I always believe that whatever the immune system does, whether it is presented as a disease, as allergy, whether it is presented as disease, autoimmune disease, it is actually trying to defend you and getting your body rid of some bad things which has happened in your body. Now let me begin. What are the different immune cells? Because the topic over here was the basics of immunology, so we will also discuss something which we learned in our MBBS. Right. Yes. Okay. I will discuss this with you. Fine. You want me to answer that? What exactly happens in autoimmune disease? Because of some genetic problem, we do not know where the etiology arises. Certain protein molecules which form the part of the natural proteins is perceived as foreign. Okay? Now, because it's a foreign thing which has come in, an immune system tries to get rid of that foreign thing. In one way, if I see in one sense, if the immune system doesn't get rid of that foreign thing, we do not know what would be the consequences. So, the one way to look at that is actually trying to protect you from something which your body is perceiving as a foreign substance which is coming to the, whether it is genetically modified natural protein which is being expressed as a foreign antigen, so on. Okay? So I look immune system in this way. Another very interesting thing which I have seen, I am a chest physician by profession, and till now, it was very difficult, and I have been always neglecting different pathogenetic mechanism, immune systems and so on throughout my career, till I finally realized that unless and until we don't understand the disease from the basic level, we may not be able to understand what is coming, what are the clinical expressions and what are the treatments. So, our immune system comprises of these major cells, a very sensitive cell called neutrophil. Now, if you see a blood report, we always have lymphocytes, neutrophils, monocytes, and so on. Another very sensitive cells, but perhaps lesser in number, eosinophils. Then we have another cells called basophils. Another cells which are usually not seen in the blood circulation but are present on the different body surfaces are the mast cells. And the monocytes, and once they get deposited in the tissue, they form macrophages. These are very, very sensitive cells, and these are the first cell which attack whenever there is entry of a bad antigen into your body or a foreign substance in your body. This is followed by more advanced, perhaps the more interesting cells called lymphocytes, which the one which develop in thymus are called T lymphocytes, and these are some T lymphocytes like T regulator cells, CD8 cells, and CD4 cells. These are some T lymphocytes. CD4, CD8 depends on some protein called cluster differentiation protein seen in CD8. So cluster different protein number 8, we call it CD8. Cluster differentiated protein cells in lymphocyte with having number 4, we call it CD4. And there is a tribal cell or a natural killer cell which don't require any of these proteins and they just kill. CD4 cells are further divided. These things are very, very important because all your treatment henceforth in next coming 5 years are going to be essentially based on controlling these cells. CD4 cells are further divided according to the inflammatory mediators which they produce to CD8-TH1 and CD8-TH2. Along with that, there is also battery of millions of inflammatory mediators. Few of them I have mentioned here because I can't mention millions. Millions of inflammatory mediators which help in the movement and crosstalk between these cells, and also enzymes which actually help in movement of these cells from one place to another. We also have another cell called B cells which get converted into another cells called plasma cells, which primarily secrete immunoglobulins such as IgG, IgM, IgA, IgD and IgE. Now with these armaments, our body defends us from n number of foreign substances. Now to begin with, let me start with the most basic immune system, which is immune sequence which is present in a body. Now what happens is, once this is a foreign substance, once the foreign antigen, which we would call a bad antigen such as pathogens, for example a bacteria, enters our body, as I discussed, the first cells which come over there, a very sensitive cells called neutrophil, slightly different or more bad cells called eosinophils and macrophages come there to finish this antigen. So their prime role is, I go there and I destroy it. Sometimes bacterial load or the antigen load is so high that it may escape this attack. Now this attack is actually in our immunology books are called innate immunity. Innate means from birth. It doesn't require any special adaptive mechanisms or anything. It is there. A child who is born, a premature baby, a mature baby or a 100 years old man will have this immunity always there, and this is also called the first line of defense. Now if your bacterial load increases or if there are more bacteria, they may escape this and they may go further down. Further down, they are first received by a very peculiar, interesting cells in allergy called dendritic cells. Okay? What are the dendritic cells? These are the cells which are present in the surface, present in the blood, and their prime function is to take this antigen, convert it into small polypeptides, and present it down inside to your lymph tissues, the ones we mentioned, the lymph nodes, the tonsils, and so on. So they take this antigen and present it to underlying lymphocytes, which are immature lymphocytes. Now these immature lymphocytes, because of the constitutional structure of antigen, get converted into CD8 cells. CD8 cells are cytotoxic. So immune cells are there to kill the bacteria. Now finish.